Well, welcome back, race fans, to the channel, and welcome back to those of you who joined us earlier on today. And this is the start of the season finale for the GT4 World Challenge by Deviant. My name is Webbo, here to join you today for the fantastic season finale. And if it's anything like the season finale of the GT3s we just witnessed, hopefully we're on for a great race, and it's nothing like it in terms of conditions. We've already seen rain, and in practice we saw cars spinning as well, and I won't further embarrass anybody by revealing who it was that I saw spinning and just testing the limits of the grip, shall we say. And you could do whatever you like in practice, spin in practice, win on the race perhaps. But it's qualifying for the race just about to get underway. This is of course the outlap for everybody. Single lap qualifying, one shot essentially for them here at the endurance layout of the Nürburgring Nordschleife, plus a decent portion of the Grand Prix circuit as well. Thank you so much for Brendan for joining, for Smoking, and for Kev Booze, who's come straight back onto the channel as well. If you'd like a mention, if you haven't already said hello and you're watching with us live for the first time here for the GT4 World Challenge, do say hello. Tell us who you are, who you're here to support as well. And yes, let's get into those predictions for who's going to get the pole here in qualifying. And I will talk to you a little bit as well about the championship standings as they currently sit. So Hyphy Honda leads this championship by just 5 points only, with their drop race taken into account. We're ahead of Huge Jar, who I believe has been having some difficulties with electronics and may, due to hurricane and tropical storm issues, may be out of tonight's race, and I'll wait for some confirmation on that, but I don't see him in the hunt here. However, Hyphy Honda is only 10 points ahead of T Deeds, so Hyphy Honda will not have this all his own way, and T Deeds is already out there drifting away and trying to get himself the best possible position on the qualifying track as well. And so T Deeds has 79 to Hyphy Honda's 89, Huge Jar on 84 in between them. Those are in the promotion playoffs, where they will have a race playoff against the possible relegations from the championship as well. We have Rue in 4th position on 50 points. Really can't, I don't think, get into that top 3, who have really had this season to themselves, but the best of the rest banner would go to Rutaz on 50 if he can hold off from Anatole in 5th position on 46 points, taking into account that dropped poorest result. We have Thrasher in 6th on 45 points. We have Arcane on 43. It is so tight in the midfield because Saito in 8th has 41 and Lalo Kills in 9th has 39 points. That gap between P4 and P9 is incredibly close, and it could be a major upset of the order. Danny is here for Rue and cheering on Rue. That's great to see. So what else do we have in terms of that championship? Sully, the safety car driver for the GT3 challenge, he's in 10th place on 31 points, just 4 ahead of Devin in 11th. Kuroskai has 20, no, am I reading this correctly? Devin has 27, Kuroskai has 26 in 12th, Silo has 14 in 13th place, and Golden Oracle has 4 points and is in 14th position. And the Alfa Romeo are ahead of Chevrolet. Alfa Romeo have already been crowned champions. Chevrolet have taken a very big step towards being receiving the 2nd place trophy for the Constructors Championship today in the GT3 World Challenge. Ferrari, Jaguar, Lamborghini, Peugeot and Renault are the following order. Very interesting livery here from Rue. I can see Besso written on the livery, so I think that this is a word jumble of the cars. Maxwell tells me that his Bilstein sponsorship and livery is for the Super GT, to honour the Super GTs that raced here at the Nürburgring 24 Hour. I think he's referring to, and that's looking very nice. It's way ahead on top of the on top of the car as well. And as Danny says, it's a word search by Glovus has written it, which is great. Although he's put his teammate Besso as the most readable of the word search sections across the bonnet. So that's very generous of him to do so. So yeah, we're looking forward to seeing how the championship works out. And I won't be able to say anything until we've had post-race penalties for sure, but I will leave a comment on the video after the event with a spoiler warning in case anyone is chase watching this and doesn't want the result to be spoiled as we go. Maxwell then 5th position. We've got Sully in the winter fresh livery for the Peugeot. I'd love to know who it is who is deciding which candy or confectionery is the livery editor for the Renault team, for the Peugeot team, excuse me, as the Renault of bright pink and blue colour scheme continues. But this is the Slug entry, the reserve driver here, Slug. Then comes Thrasher. Actually, I must just say that despite being a reserve and only partaking in 3 races prior to this, Slug has 20 points, and that would be good enough to put him into 13th position ahead of Silo, who has been here for every race. So very impressive there from Slug. Thrasher is in 8th right now, just on the outlap in the Ferrari. And we go back to a livery we've seen before here from Silo in the Bang sponsored Lamborghini. And we're going to have, of course, we've got Mercury in the pits waiting for his. It is full on raining in the pit lane, but for T Deeds, it's not. Well, I suppose it is actually. It's just not super strong. But he was out testing the conditions in practice, getting plenty of track time, and you've got to say that's very sensible of him. Welcome if you're just joining us, and we look forward to hearing from you in the live chat. We look forward to hearing from everybody today, and I haven't seen many predictions here for pole position today. Will it be T Deeds? Will it be, I was going to say, will it be Hyphy? But Hyphy's not here either. Am I wrong? 2 championship main contenders here, Hyphy Honda and Huge Jar, are not participating, it would seem. Certainly in qualifying. I don't think we're going to see Huge Jar in the race, but Hyphy Honda, a no-show for today. He has already dropped his poorest result, so that could change the standings if he has an even poorer one. But T Deeds with a shot here, if he can win while the other 2 ahead of him are not with us, T Deeds could still take the lead of this championship and take the crown. He'll be fighting with those in the playoff zone, and Huge does saying no power in Ohio. I didn't even think Ohio was particularly vulnerable to hurricanes. So heart goes out to you, Huge Jar, and I hope that you and your loved ones are safe and your home is okay. And that's the main thing, of course. But a real shame that you couldn't be here for. Maybe we should have a playoff for the championship as well. A showdown for the championship if Hyphy can't show either. I don't think TD's would vote for that, but I'm sure that Huge Jar, once he gets power back, would definitely vote for the opportunity to fight. But look at the standing water that isn't standing when TD goes over it here as he closes out his outlap only in the Huracan. And he is now running beautifully smooth out of the final corner down onto the start-finish straight to start his one-shot qualifying lap of the Nürburgring Endurance layout. Building through the gears, mist onset. We did see plenty of mist, and we did see some moisture in the air in the GT3, and it seems to have transpired into a difficult shower. T-Deeds has dropped down to first position. Has he forgotten what he's doing? Or is he just being ultra cautious down into the hairpin? That is absolutely bizarre. I think it was just being super cautious. He doesn't want to make a major error here, but we are going to have a very slow first sector of the racetrack. Is anybody else going to have a bit more confidence, I have to say, going into that first turn? Skuros Kai is almost aquaplaning, heading into the 200-meter braking point, no, people are being incredibly cautious coming down into the hairpin, and rightly so, you have to say, but those three will be very, very close to one another. Maxwell is taking the middle line down the track, where the crowning convex nature of the racetrack is at its, the effect is at its least, is if you're in the center of the racetrack. Maxwell tries to get some turn in, but 2 bites of the cherry into the apex, a full-on spin for Maxwell, and you can see why the other drivers were taking it so cautiously down into turn number 1. Going down is the, oh, and a massive tank slapper on the Winter Fresh car 53, and it is all a massive, massive issue there for Sully heading down. Slug will have just seen that in the distance, so be taking this incredibly carefully. Willie, Slug managing about a 90-degree drift, and Thrasher will be blocked as they heads down, and Silo has plenty of running left to go, but Chaotica shouting, "No, Sully!" No, Sully, no, that is so not right. But we're going to go through, and hopefully we'll get a bit more confidence as they are tiptoeing around this second sector now, well, the first main racing sector of the racetrack. Contrast, I know it's a slower car, the GT4s, but contrast the fastest times coming through this sector crossover. We're a 1:54 in the dry for our drivers. This is almost going to guarantee that we get no more than 7 laps in our race. We may even be down to 6 if the weather holds like this for our main race. This is just qualifying, of course, of the GT4 World Challenge. We're waiting still for that first sector to tick over for our race. We're deep into, well, we are well past a normal racetrack's single lap here as we head towards the first sector only at the Nordschleife. Over the hill, heading towards Kittelbacher Hoche here, and that's a 2 minute 53. That's almost an entire minute slower as they run into to the next corner. We've got Rue, who's managed to get past Kuroskai there, and these drivers are going to have far from ideal runs through their qualifying lap. They can't really do anything about it now. They just didn't generate enough gap and were, to different degrees, very cautious headed into the final, into the first corner as they run through. 2:48 for Rue, 2 less than for Kuroskai. Oh dear, contact in qualifying there for the drivers, and we'll just knock that one back if the game will let us. It will, thankfully. So Rue getting just to the outside again, being pretty cautious heading in out onto the grass, but they both were running wide, so 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, and that should mean our Saito can get through between the two of them, and they run 3 abreast over the crest there. Rue still ahead. No, that is Kuroskai, sorry, that is Saito off the circuit as well. Let's just watch that one again as well, as our Saito comes over the hill. Whoa, fully sideways from Kuroskai as well. Incredible. Our Saito just couldn't get the car stopped and runs completely off into the gravel. I think we're going to see plenty of repeats of that as we come through that sector, so it'd be well worth watching the cars as they run through. Heading down towards that braking zone, over the crest, down for the braking zone for Thrasher, sideways, and a spin. This track is virtually impossible in the rain for our drivers. Silo is still a long way back. We have 9 racing cars for you today. Here comes Silo over the hill. Take it easy, Silo. Little break. And sideways. And back the other way. Holding. Can we hold the circuit? Oh, dear me. That is definitely the trickiest part of the track so far. Because even if you go wrong at the hairpin at the start of the lap, there is plenty of time to make up for that error in the gravel zone on the exit. Let's rejoin then our potential pole position runner here. This is T Deeds. Welcome everybody to this race. I hope you're tuned in. I hope you've refueled between races and you're ready for another cracker. We have the showdown here, the season finale of our fantastic GT4 World Challenge that I've had the pleasure of commentating on replays through this season, but for the first time here, we are live on Deviant Racing. So, looking forward to this one. Look how gentle and careful T Deeds is being. We may only get the 6 racing laps if these conditions continue. Could be a very short race indeed for our GT4 drivers. T Deeds is running through the corners now and through Kesselchen corner in towards really fast section heading up towards Gloucestertown. Again, well off throttle. Hardly ever is he going full throttle here, and dancing on the brakes as well, just to balance the pitch of the car through the corner. Arcane says, I believe T Deeds needs the fastest lap and first place to overtake Hyphy. It's an awful lot of pressure. It is an awful lot of pressure, and he's got to make the strategic calls exactly right as well. Look at the bright sunshine at this portion of the racetrack. We've had half the qualifying lap in the rain, so wet that the drivers could barely grip in and stay on the black stuff. And then we have got bright sunshine, sharp shadows, almost blinding sun now as we head through. But Arcane says Deeds has the skill to do it. So he's keeping the faith here. And we ride with T Deeds as we run through. Ryan Flood says, let's go. I know that the Floody has got his name emblazoned on one of the Renaults today. I think that's Slug's car, isn't it? He's driving the Floody livery. Remember, promotion is the promotion playoffs are guaranteed in the top 3 positions. Hyphy, Honda, Huge Jar, and T Deeds all have it, but I don't know if I make that, you know. No, you're probably right. You're probably right, in fact, because without the dropped score, the dropped worst score, then Hyphy Honda will have 99 points. Oh, it's too complicated to work out for my little brain while I try and call a qualifying as well. Arcane saying their partner Kuros Kai is in second at the moment. Well, they're only on outlaps at the moment, so it might be premature. So, Kuros Kai then, P2, over the hill. It is much, much safer now for the drivers to run through here. As T Deeds comes down, and he's almost done with the difficult sections of the racetrack. It gets easier after the next right-hander, so we've got a double left here, and then the right-hander into Schwalbenstrand's corner. Try and get the car hooked up neatly into the gully of the stepped and banked left, then into the right-hander before launching out onto the main straightaway. I wonder, you know, is it still wet for the drivers elsewhere on the circuit? What about in the pit lane? It does still look a little bit wet in the pit lane, doesn't it? So Arcane's saying yes, Hyphy will end up with 99 points since this will be his drop race. So a win plus the fastest lap will give him 21 points, won't it, for TDs? But what will his drop race reduce his deficit by? It's too complicated for me. I can't do it. You've got to help me out. TD is in first position on the track. Rue is in second on the track, as Kuros Kai is currently third fastest, or third on track, second fastest it seems on the outlap anyway, and he runs on through. We've got Rue in third here, then we go to Maxwell out into fifth on the road. Sully's okay, and then we have a massive gap out to Thrasher and Silo, who had enormous problems running through the wet of the track. Crossing the line then goes T Deeds, and he sets a 10.26. That does not sound great, but a 10.26.998. He crawled around the first probably 3 sectors of the racetrack There we go. Arcane's saying he's done the maths. So I'm going to trust you, Arcane. TD needs the 21 to win it. His drop race is already set. Great. Okay, thank you. So Roux goes into second then. Maxwell says the fastest lap of the race, but Slug quickly goes better. Slug is faster in P1 with a 9 minutes 43. That's huge from Slug. What a lap from Slug. Absolutely out of nowhere from Slug. TD's down into 5th, playing it ultra carefully. Couldn't really go for it there. Sully crosses the line, now goes 3rd. It is definitely favouring the cars who were at the rear of the field in qualifying, who didn't rush out of the pit lane. They have had longer on the track in the drier conditions, I think. Slug on top, ahead of Maxwell. Maxwell looking to try and secure best of the rest position here, ahead of Roux for 4th position in the championship, if he can. Chaotic is saying Slug is no slouch, or Slug? I think it would have been better. Slug is no slouch, surely. But here we go. Thrasher then to finish out just ahead of Sully. No, scratch that. Silo is ahead on track, just heading, about to go down the long main straightaway here at the track. Will they do it in time before the game times out of qualifying? They are so far back, but it will help them. They held off thinking that the rain might ease partway around the lap, and it is certainly proving to be so for them. As Thrasher gets out on the mud, he's still not quite there, is Thrasher. So Silo should have a better opportunity here, but they have been crazily off track earlier on as well. So it is still anyone's. Slug leads Maxwell and Sully in qualifying, and who had that on their prediction sheet? Bravo to those top 3. TDs, though, gunning for the championship, needing the win and fastest lap to win this title, is in 6th place, and that is not an easy place to start a race from. Here comes Silo then, as we bounce along with 40 seconds remaining. I don't know if he's going to get a time in, is he? Well, we shall see. He's got it pinned, he's trying. He's got 2 or 3 main turning points to go. They are going to end up timing out, I think. I fear. Anyway, we're getting down into the braking zone. He is absolutely on a mission here. He can set a lap. It might rescue him from the back row of the grid. But 15 seconds to go. It was similar in terms of the finish of the final lap in the GT3s. But if Silo makes it, I don't think that Thrasher is going to make it across the line. 3, 2, 1, and no! Time up, time out, and no qualifying there from the tail runners. A 9:43. How about that from Slug? Not just getting the fastest lap, but by beating 2nd position by 18 seconds and 3rd position by 29 seconds. He was the bravest driver in the wet, and you could argue he had the least to lose as a reserve driver, but doing a great job. The American driver Slug ahead of the Thai driver Maxwell in 2nd place. Then comes Sully, Roux, Saito. Championship contender TD's in 6th on his own here. Then comes Kuros Kai and Thrasher, who did not put in a lap. Neither did Silo. Obviously Mercury didn't, but we're going to get trackside shortly and get underway. Arcane Saint didn't realise that was qualifying. My apologies, I should have been a little bit tighter on that one. It will be lap 4 for the safety car. It will be the hard tyre is the mandatory tyre today, but really, unless the drivers want to pit every single lap, I don't think they'll be using anything other than the hard tyre. Just waiting for the race then to get underway for you. So, with the start positions being Slug, Maxwell, Sully, you can now give me your podium predictions. Can T-Deeds do it? We know Arcane thinks he can, but can T-Deeds do it? Get the win and the fastest lap to secure a title, an unlikely title from 3rd position, but thanks to the unfortunate situation with Huge Jar and the Hurricane, and with Hyphy not showing up, anything on the radar at the moment. We're seeing, well, I mean, it's tough to read, but nothing particularly helpful on the radar. No rain showing, but we're on our way then. Just a few seconds to go until we go racing for the final time here at the GT4 World Challenge by Deviant. This is Webbo on the mic, as you can probably imagine, and we'll get underway for you very, very soon. I'm going to get the details on the screen for you. So it all comes down to this. The 4 red lights are on. We only get 4 here. And it's dropped the clutch. And go, go, go. The unfamiliar sight of Slug at the head of the field launches in a great start from Slug, from Maxwell. And it looks like we've got dry conditions, at least for the start of the race. Down the inside goes protective Maxwell to claim the apex. Roux coming the long way round the outside to try and nab that second position, but can't quite do it. Does he open the door to TDs, who's already up 2 places? TDs into 4th position. Roux going slightly wide and out onto the circuit, so TDs has got his way up to 3rd position already. Kuroskai elbows his way through past the word search liveried Roux in the Chevrolet. The Chevrolet team looking to secure that 2nd place in the championship. How about this one from Sully though, getting a great run up the inside of Roux as well, down into the Dunlop hairpin. So tremendous start from the drivers. TDs has made his way all the way up into 3rd position, and let's just check out that pass for TDs. Sorry, TDs is now into 2nd. Why was that exactly? Something just took place there, but looks like the driver managed to exit that particular battle. Slug is in the lead by half a second ahead of TDs, who is now tackling this racetrack in a very different way than he did in qualifying. Going down the inside to start the Nordschleife section of the racetrack, and he takes the lead before the first sector is done and dusted. And you can do that kind of thing here at the endurance layout, as Kuroskai has picked up a half-second penalty and the first one on the track. TDs is now in the lead, and he has got a lot of work to do out there on the medium tyre. Soft tyre for TDs actually, so he has to make track position on this lap alone. And I don't know what the weather forecast is like. We had Danny telling us the weather forecast before. I saw nothing on the radar. It looked clear to me, and so we will wait for an update. Hopefully Danny or someone else can tell us if we're expecting any rain officially here. But Kuroskai is getting a good run here. Kuroskai on the medium tyres, just like Slug, but again banging wheel arches and getting ahead. Danny has no radar, I'm afraid. Kuroskai running wide. Kuroskai into the barriers and giving up that position once again. We've seen that several times here. Driver just makes a pass in an inopportune place, gets excited and takes themselves off the racetrack pretty quickly as well. So Kuroskai is certainly looking very active. He's damaged the front wing, and Roux is in 4th position then, and he's on the hard tyres, the mandatory tyre, and could be in a good place here. The Chevrolet is, if you can handle the power, the Chevrolet is a very good race car to hold on to. And on the hard tyre in 4th place is a good place to be. Saito is in 5th, also on the hard tyre. Thrasher's fitted the intermediate, folks. He must be expecting rain. No? Or is that a glitch? But the Ferrari on the intermediate tyres is in 6th place. Maxwell on hards, kind of explaining why he's lost positions, is on hard tyres in 7th. But why is Thrasher... Oh, what a shot. What a shot that was, as Thrasher leads Maxwell heading through. And then we saw the sight of Sully just a little bit further back there. 7.5 seconds he's lost already, with Silo in 9th place and at the tail of the field. Mercury's come out of the pits and is running around. I wonder if Mercury's going to park up at turn 90 and wait for his opportunity, as the clock has featured on the race on the top of the screen as well. TDs has a lead of 7.5 seconds. And he needs every bit of that, starting as he is on the soft tyres. So the only way I can do this is to repeatedly change the settings. But TD's in first position and leading the way then, extending the gap out to 8 seconds now. And keep an eye on that, but he's unlikely on this portion of the race, unthreatened and pushing hard, you have to say, but he's unlikely to lose a position here. Giroskei has lost a position to Roux, so he's still got a penalty to pay, and he's got a half-second off-throttle penalty to take. Roux just outside of the track limits. Giroskei right fully off track, managed to feather the throttle though and didn't pick up any further penalty on that run through. Giroskei a little bit all over the shop on this first flying lap. So we had one prediction, and that was Kev Boost saying Maxwell P1, TD's P2 and Saito P3. Remember that, folks. It's a nice pass from Roux down the inside. That was a beautiful one from him. Should we watch that again? Yeah, why not? Here he comes then to the inside. I have to say his slope was generous with the room given on the inside there. He tried to hold the next inside line, but Roux had made it through and slugged down to third from that pole position. Back live we go. Roux, great shot of the cars entering the carousel. And trying to balance the car on the way out of it as well. Saito on the hard tyres, just hopping over the exit. Thrasher on the intermediates is wearing those inters worse than a set of softs, and even if it rains, I don't know how much longer they can last, thanks to that one, as Maxwell is on the hard tyres as well. And oh, we've got windscreen wipers on. We have windscreen wipers on Maxwell's car, and that is no accident. So Thrasher was gambling with the weather forecast. He has the intermediate tyres on. Is this a genius move, or has he already burnt them to shreds, frankly? So P7 then for Maxwell at the moment. I imagine the rain too much for the intermediate tyres to suddenly start switching on here. But the drivers will be extra cautious now as they head in. It's almost the opposite of qualifying. The second half of our first lap is raining. Such a complete different turnaround for the drivers from qualifying. It is short, sharp showers so far, but there is nothing short about this particular shower. Look at the rain teeming at the race driver's point of view here. It's certainly going to be very, very difficult. That almost looks like snow on the track. So the drivers have got their hands full, and Silo getting slightly sideways. Can Mercury stay on circuit as well? He has a little bit of fun here, doesn't he? He gets to have a little bit of fun in the wet. It's TD's now with everything to lose, but out on the grass, and he just saved that one. TD's. I wonder how everyone else is going to make it through. Yeah, I think we're going to have synchronized spinning as Roux runs wide of the carousel as well. Floody was slow in because he was already off circuit, but Slug can't make it through. Excuse me, with the floody livery. Giroskei probably went through that best of all, and round they go. And they are perhaps getting an indication then of just how difficult it's going to be. Maxwell was a bit crossed up coming through the carousel. Silo is all the way off on the grass, and he hadn't even got there to the carousel section. And another huge slide from Silo. And a super, I'm going to give him 2 Webbo style points for that one. And if you're keeping count, please let me know the Webbo style point championship standings so far. TD's has first position right now, and he, as I say, with everything to lose, he's got a 13.5 second gap at the front of the field. But of course, the safety car will come at the end of lap 4 and kind of interrupt that quite considerably for him. Samir says, what a mess with this weather. Would you have fancied this in the race, in your race, Samir? Look at these guys. 4 cars on the same stretch of tarmac as they run through. We've got Giroskei in the yellow and black, appropriately enough, Renault. ahead of Thrasher and Saito. Is Thrasher actually getting any kind of better grip out of these almost destroyed intermediate tyres? I think not at this stage. As into the pits comes everybody, and Thrasher couldn't even use those intermediate tyres to good effect. What is TD's going to fit, I wonder, as he comes out? And it still looks, Samir says he feels lucky there's no rain on the circuit. Slug and Kuroskai went through, but they are getting all out of shape going into the hairpin. TD's, I really want to cut back now and see if he's fitted the inters. Let's have a look. I'm sorry, guys. He has gone for intermediates because we are at about 1/3 depth water spray here into the hairpin. I think it's really important whether our drivers are on the inters or dry tyres. Saito has doubled down and gone for dry tyres. Maxwell on the inters is struggling. As Saito on the mediums, we've got Thrasher back out on a second set of intermediate tyres. Sully out on the inters as well. Silo didn't fancy any further running there. And Mercury's coming all the way around on full wet tyres. So even at the reduced speed that he has to run, Mercury has gone for those tyres. Great to see. So the vast majority of the field, with the exception of Saito, are on intermediate tyres at this stage of the race. It's lap 2 of I don't know how many, because I don't know how long these laps are going to run for. Probably 6 or 7, we shall see. TD holds on to only a 6.3 second lead, because I think Slug did not pit when TD did. We shall see as everything shakes out in the end. Intermediate tyres on the car, but windscreen wipers not running, so I think it's going to dry up after just a couple of sectors of this second lap. So the drivers are just damned if they do, damned if they don't when it comes to putting on the right tyres as they run through here. But at least with intermediate tyres they'll have grip while it's still damp. But it does look like the rain is not continuing to fall. It was a very short shower, less than a lap of running. Will it rain again before the track dries up? Look at the sunshine already. We are splashing our way through the apexes of the corner, and the sun is illuminating the spray. Absolutely insane as Rue dives down the inside, in no small part due to Slug getting a little bit sideways there. And they run through, but so now Rue in the second place championship standing Chevrolet is in second place on the track as well. TD's and Lamborghini will not feature in the battle for the podium positions for the constructors, if I get that correct. Despite all the work he's done, Lamborghini were in 5th prior to the start of today's race day across both divisions. Maxwell's found some speed now though on the intermediate tyres and is certainly enjoying them. Can't seem to make up his mind, or neither can Kuroskai, as to which side of the racetrack the pass is going to come from. Kuroskai just weaving around slightly. See just how bright that sun is. The spray still kicking off behind the cars as Maxwell just making an absolute nuisance of himself in the mirrors here. Maxwell on Kuroskai, and Thrash is getting through as well. Maxwell now decides he's going left, and he's out on the grass, and he just held it. How on earth did Maxwell hold that coming back onto the circuit as Thrasher follows his way through? Kuroskai can't get the traction on the car at the moment. Is that down to a tyre choice as the spray is diminishing? Saito then on the dry tyres will possibly be in a better position here. He didn't expect the rain to last long, and he was absolutely right with it. Sully's in 8th, and Silo is solo here on track, down in 9th position. Huge slide and another amazing catch from Silo. Love it, brilliant stuff. I absolutely love to see this kind of thing. So great stuff from Silo, not just dialing it in here at the back, he is absolutely ramming this car around the track. The Lamborghini leads and tails our field But at the moment, TD's lead is now out to 8 seconds on his own. As Floody says, what a shot. It was a beautiful, beautiful race. And Silo showing off that sponsorship, indeed, to great effect. Getting plenty of TV time for his owners and team sponsors. Rue's got a similar gap here out to Slug, nearly 8 seconds. So the front runners are not making much of a race of this for us at this stage, but Maxwell absolutely is with Thrasher and catching Slug now. They dispatched Kuroskai. Maxwell will pay this penalty, but the track is now. I'm gonna sort of hazard a guess, probably about just 80% dry. Not there, Slug. Oh, sideways again as Maxwell gets far too close and personal to the diffuser of the Renault Megane than he had hoped for, and he's still weaving around trying to find some grip. Aquaplaning effect is absolutely intense. Will it have dried up down into the hairpin, do we think? By the time they get down there at the start of lap 3, I wonder. Maxwell just dropping a little bit of confidence and gap to Slug. It's now out to 3/4 of a second. Be better off just waiting for Slug's next mistake, I think, before powering past. But just getting that little bit too close for comfort, I think. And we'll have that penalty to pay as well. So that is half a second off throttle as they are going down the main Dottinger Hoche straight away. There's another huge sideways moment from Slug. Maxwell cannot capitalise around these tight and twisty corners of the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Again, just heading left and right. Let's join Maxwell on board, shall we? He's probably got the best view of what Slug's up to as Slug slithers his way around this drying circuit, but far from dry. Just checking the mirrors here. You actually can't check the mirrors nicely from this view. As we run down the order, Maxwell. Just gap slightly now. Slug opening up to 2 seconds. Maxwell needs to be right with him to avoid losing ground. But there goes Slug, off again, off onto the wet grass. And surely now is going to give up the position. Doesn't fight it too well. I was going to say doesn't fight it too hard, but Maxwell just didn't have the confidence. Thrasher sneaks his way through on the inside, gets a little tank slapper for his trouble, and I think Maxwell's slowing deliberately there to allow Thrasher back on the circuit and not pick up a penalty. Out onto the grass, very sporting as usual from Maxwell. Not a forceful driver out there. And our Saito then, who remember did not pit for intermediate tyres and elected to brave it on the dry tyres. And there's Slug off again. We could have an entire video highlight reel of Slug off the circuit so far on this second lap. But he's dropped down to 6th now, and the drivers behind him, the drivers now in front of him who were behind him, breathe a sigh of relief, I think, as our Saito, as I say, on the dry tyres, will be just wanting to pass these guys on the inters here. Should get the traction out of the slower corners, get the advantage in that region. Thrasher has only been on intermediate tyres from the start of this race, but is 2 different sets of inters because he ran for so long in the dry that he chewed them to shreds. Thrasher though now in 3rd position, and our Saito, oh, Maxwell's had a problem. Maxwell's down in the order. Let's just check that one out on Maxwell. As we run, we just get a little bit out of shape. Did he get some contact here? I think he might have done. Really hard to tell from there, but back live we go as Maxwell has just simply no tyres left, and that's why he is understeering wildly. Medium tyres shod Saito have barely been used on this second lap. So with a 30.5 second deficit to the lead, he will be hoping to try and get the lead of the race here, as it is drying, and in comes T Deeds. He had a 7-second lead. Root over and above that, and Thrasher also on the intermediate tyres. So T Deeds and Root come in, What are the drivers going to do about strategy here? They won't, I don't think, get hard tyres, get 40 minutes on the hard tyre. And there's Thrasher all over the shop once again, but holding on. Into the pits he comes, so does Slug, and that means our Saito will go through. Bravely holding on, and it is wet. He's got dry tyres. It's really wet down the start-finish line here. He's going to have to take the driest possible line. Going to be super cautious into the hairpin. Can he hold it to the apex? Well, that is confident from Saito, given those tyres would have got a fresh soaking down the start-finish straight. And he runs through, and it's now dry at this portion. So why is the start-finish straight so poor at drying, I wonder? Unless it just the weather just disappeared quite that quickly. You can still see some rain kicking up out of the tail of the Ferrari. Excuse me. Saito Maxwell changing tyres, getting some fuel in as well, fueling up. That's the best decision you can make, but he's gone on to another set of intermediate tyres because this portion of the racetrack looks so wet. But little does he know, further round, even just the Grand Prix circuit layout, it is, I was going to say completely dry, but it's not completely dry, but it is dry at the vast majority of the racetrack. T. Deeds is wrestling his Lamborghini round. This is such a challenge for the drivers. I wish this had been the case for the GT3 drivers. As a neutral here, watching on. Our Saito leads now by 8.6 seconds on medium tyres that have done a lap in the wet. T. Deeds is on brand new hard tyres. Preston cheering on the Peugeots. We'll find out where they are in a moment as T. Deeds tries to find his way around and join the Nordschleife here. As does Roux, who has caught T. Deeds significantly. A 4-second overhaul there through the pit stop procedure. Didn't quite full fuel, maybe? Did anyone knock out their hards first? I don't know. Yes, I think so, but I think the fact that they ran in the rain and were off circuit, I think that's probably nullified any advantage that they had. I don't know if you saw from the start, Floody, but we had a dry 2/3 of a lap into a soaking wet 1/3 of a lap. And no one had been able to make the right decision on tyres because it changed so dramatically. And I think it just destroyed every tyre going, whether you were on or off track, on or off the racing line. Thrash is in 4th right now. Slug is in 5th. And I do think the hard tyres are the way to get more than a lap in between pit stops. So that is the only way to go through. And while you're chatting on the live chat, we'll just see Slug in the grass. Oh, wow. He's certainly having fun out there, trying to get your name on screen as much as possible, Floody. And Maxwell is in 6th place. He's 50 seconds away from the lead now on new medium tyres as well. And the dark clouds haven't completely disappeared. Neither has the moisture on the racetrack. Probably just hovering around 10 to 20% moisture that the tyre treads are trying to shed. But the majority of the field here on medium tyres. Kurios Kai has been wild today already in the new sponsorship here for the Renault team. Sully is in 8th place. Had a little bit of opportunity to take in the track as the safety car driver for the previous race today, but he's in 8th, and Silo's at the back and has been putting on a tremendous show for the Bang sponsors here in the Huracan. Where is Mercury at the moment? He's sitting in the pits right now. I wonder if he'll be doing a lap to get round, or whether he'll go backwards. It might be worth a little look this time to see his approach. Our Saito continues to lead and is holding his own here against T. Deeds at this stage. 5.7 seconds. Thought I'd just cursed him then. He had a wide entry into the corner. Again, still the car's getting a little bit wild, and you touch those curbs with the wrong angle of your tyre at your peril. Roux is chasing down T. Deeds. Remember, T. Deeds needs no less than a win and a fastest lap here, so he can't run mediums consistently. He's on the hard tyres now, the back end stepping out once again, and he is pushing. He needs no less than fastest lap and the race win to take home the title from the missing Hughes Jar and Hyphy Honda, who have, these three have definitely been demonstrating some amazing racing so far this season. But T Deeds trying to hold off Roux in the Chevrolet. Chevy has been a very good race car this season, cross divisions, and I think it's almost certainly secured second position in the championship to Alfa Romeo. Roux makes the pass. That was really easily done, and I think TD's struggling on the hard tyres. You have to say, Roux has the medium tyres on, and our Saito's lead 2.7 seconds, as I think something might have just gone down with our Saito. Let's have a look. Did he go off circuit? That was a much healthier lead at the start of this replay. Or am I too late with the button? He was just a little bit nervous through there. Just lost a lot of ground, and I can't really explain what happened. Roux then in second now, ahead of T Deeds. Thrasher is chucking his Ferrari around. How is the carousel for our drivers at the moment as they run through? And is Slug on the tarmac? He is right now. Medium tyres, 3/4 of a tank of fuel for Slug at the moment, and trying to take the high line around the banking. Through comes Maxwell as well in 6th place. Oh, really getting very, very lively as the car through the carousel. There is Kuros Kai in the new livery for this finale, and you can't really say new livery for the Peugeots because you've got a new livery virtually every single race for these guys. Now it's the Wrigley's Winter Fresh running through, and next up, this should be good, Silo to take on the carousel here in lap 3 of our season finale. Yes, that's right, lap 3. We're nearly at half distance already. I'm not sure that we will see 7 laps if the rain comes again. Those first 2 laps very slow indeed for the drivers, thanks to the race conditions. Lamborghini, oh, well, that was disappointingly cautious from Silo through there. I think we need to have words if we've got any teammates in the chat. Here comes Roux then, having caught our Saito, and now we've got a 3-way battle for the lead. It's our Saito in front of Roux and T Deeds, and this is closing out lap 3, about to head into the final 2 sectors of the racetrack, although the penultimate sector is just a straight line. We should get some slipstream passing going on here. We'll join sorry about that, very poor form. There goes Roux, past and into the lead, is he? But the second phase of the straight is helping our Saito. T Deeds, unusually in the Lamborghini, could not feature with the good overspeed. That slow Peugeot is definitely hurting though down the straight. Our Saito giving up the lead and second position, down to 3rd from the lead goes our Saito as we peer between the spoiler on the back of the Chevrolet, and that's Roux now into the lead. So we've had 3 laps, we've had at least 3 leaders by my count anyway. Remember, Roux on the medium tyres still has to use the hards, I believe. Our Saito has used his mediums for 2 laps and has to head into the pits. So Roux from T Deeds, and T Deeds still has the opportunity here for the championship win. I don't think if he equals points with Honda, with Hyphy, will he actually. Roux scattering the cones. Now, did Roux mistake where he was on track and the configuration perhaps? Because I know that you can You can turn left after the hairpin for the 24. No, that was just understeer as he comes back onto the track. So I thought he might have tried to turn left and then realised where he was, but he's given up the lead to T Deeds this time. Let's again have another look. T Deeds getting the grip down the inside. Was that contact or just lag between the two drivers? Clearly lag going on here, but T Deeds hanging it out, and you can usually run really wide out of turn 3, so that's where T Deeds got it done. But Rue not ready to fully give it up as they run 1-2. T Deeds now where he needs to be, but he still needs that fastest lap. I'm sure a driver of T Deeds' caliber will have already calculated what he needs to do here to overhaul Hyphy Honda. Of course, the win will give him second place in the championship. He will feature for sure in the playoffs for a GT3 position next season. But at the moment, at least, he's doing enough, but he needs that fastest lap. And he's got the medium tyres, and this will be his best lap to try and do it. While he's on medium tyres, he's relatively low on fuel. The safety car, no, excuse me, it won't be his best opportunity for fastest lap, because the safety car will be coming through in a moment, and we'll check out where he is. But he's just starting now to stretch away from Rue. There's T Deeds. It's the F22 inspired livery in a matte grey. Let's have a look at Mercury. Let's just check out what Mercury's going to do. He's going to do a U-turn. He's waited for the whole field to go through, so he's not going to cause a problem here. He will end up with a 3-second penalty thanks to turning the wrong way and crossing the white line again. That's the second time Mercury's done that this season. He could have just waited until he had to do the other portion of the race. So finish the pit lane exit legally, chuck it into the barriers. Does he know I'm watching him? Is that why he's doing this? Oh dear me, Mercury once again having a bit of fun out there, and who would argue with him? So here is T Deeds then in first position, now putting the gap on, trying to put the hammer down while he can, but he needs to do his fastest lap later on if he can as well, while we wait for Mercury to do everything he needs to do. Rue goes wide onto the grass, unfortunately. So that, well, it's not going to hurt his race position in a minute, because he will be alright with the safety car coming this lap. And then how many Chevrolet team members can you spot on the word search at speed? I can definitely see Besso, Corvette, Chevrolet. I can't see Vaso yet, but maybe we need an overhead shot to see that. Should we just, while we're talking about it, should we give it the best here? So there's Chevrolet. Who else can you see on here? Group 4, I can see. Yeah, great. Has he led it? There's Deviant, I can see. I can't see Vaso. Where has he put his own name? Is it Diagonal? Is it Sneaky Diagonal? If you've spotted it, let me know. But yeah, just having a quick look. As on our run towards the safety car then on this lap 4. We've got Slug in third, our Saito in fourth. Rear quarter panel says Chaotica. Alright, I'll have another look later on, but I won't bore everybody now. Thanks for spotting that one, Chaotica. As Maxwell in 5th place with our Saito ahead. Kiros Kai is in 6th right now. Thrasher on the mediums is doing well here in 7th at the moment. We've got Sully. Well, Slug's in 3rd, and that's amazing given how little time he's actually spent on the asphalt today. We've got Sully in 8th position down there. These other drivers are going to watch back Slug's race and think, how are they behind him? Silo has got the hazard lights on in P9. I'm not quite sure what that's about. I don't see anybody he's able to warn at this stage. And Mercury has parked up and is ready. He's now going to reverse a little way and just get himself into position. But the drivers will be extra frustrated for the second time this season. He did the same thing at Bathurst, picking up that 3-second penalty. But going backwards down the track might have given him a penalty anyway. But here is T Deeds then, racing towards... There's really no incentive on this lap to keep pushing, other than to try and save a lap on the race distance. But there's really no incentive if you're running hard here at the head of the field on this 4th lap to push. You're only going to scrub your tyres, you're going to use your fuel, and you're essentially going to arrive at the safety car together. So we'll just watch the drivers through the carousel again. The racetrack bone dry here at this stage. Here comes Slug then, heading towards the banked turn. One of the 2 banked turns anyway, I should say. Mixing up those camera angles as we head in. Slug through safely, and through come the lead Peugeot of Saito, who's made, if anyone has made good fuel tyre decisions today, it's Saito, you have to say. But even then, he spent good portions of the lap on the wrong tyres as a result of the way that the rain has worked. There is Kuroskai then. Here we go, on the approach to carousel again for Sully, as T Deeds at the head of the field will be heading towards the safety car. And there is now no passing on track, anywhere on track, I'm told. It's essentially a yellow flag lap. Sully coming through, and T Deeds will be about to catch Mercury. Mercury will get up to 70 miles an hour, I think, in a moment. Whoa, getting a little bit lively there was T Deeds. So he's got just the sort of double right-hander here to go before the long straight, and he will discover a virulent green Mercury, who will then plus 3 seconds off throttle to come. Slug then heading towards the next banked turn around Schwalbenschwanz corner. Nice wide entry for him. So just a reminder, if you joined us late, T Deeds, he's in 3rd position in the championship standings, 20 points off the lead. But his 2 championship rivals ahead of him have been unable to race with us today in the final race of the season. So he needs a win for 20 points, plus a single point for the fastest lap to come as well. As well, it will help the rest of the cars catch him, won't it? With Mercury about to hit the hit the off throttle section, or has he already passed it? I think he may have done. Okay. So here we go, just keeping the tyres together, keeping everything nice and warm. Will anybody come in, I wonder, to save themselves a little bit of race time? We are down to 22 minutes exactly to go in the race, and we have 9 drivers still with us here in the Nordschleife season finale here of the GT4 World Challenge. This has been a 7-round endurance championship over the course of the last few months, and we have seen so much great action and wonderful driving and great stylish save moments, not just in this race but throughout the season. It has been a real joy to enjoy the drivers heading now, as they do, all into the pits, with the exception once again of our Saito. Our Saito just seems to have one of those contrary mindsets, I think, today. Whatever anyone else does, he is just going to do the damn opposite. So he's back into the lead of the race. In P1 is Saito. As Sully comes through, hadn't even caught the safety car before they all head into the pits. As Saito runs through, then Thrasher goes through into 2nd place on the road. Everyone coming out of the pits is going to have to be a little bit cautious here. plenty of fuel going in to TD's and to Rue's car. They are going to brim those tanks to an absolute, well, I say brim, but Rue didn't, so TD's absolutely filled that to the top as they come out of the pit lane. Is anyone going to be foolish enough to cross over that white line under safety car and give away a terrible penalty? But that has completely upended the order. Slug short fueled that one, nudges a cone along and out of everybody's way. Slug has short fueled compared to Rue and to TD's, or didn't have to fuel as much because the Renault is a little bit less thirsty than the Lamborghini and the Chevrolet. Kuros Kai's come out in 6th place. Maxwell now in 7th, left the hazard lights on. And then we have Sully. So Maxwell was keen to tell me when we were doing the last race that hazard lights are a requirement on the safety car, period. But many drivers forget to turn them off. So as the safety car peels aside and we go green, people should be clicking the hazard lights off. And they know exactly where it's going to happen this time as well. Silo comes into the pits. And Mercury continues to lead this race for just a few more meters, as our Saito will watch him peel off at the exit of turn 19. Reminder, this is a 1 hour endurance race, so they will hit the checkered flag or the white flag. They only hit the checkered flag, excuse me, after the 60 minutes have elapsed for any driver in the field. And I know it's really complicated, and the finish of Gran Turismo races that are timed are awkward. That's it, safety car done. It's green flag racing once again. Start of lap 5. Our Soto leads Thrasher. That is TD's and Rue getting all out on the sideways moments out onto the grass. There is TD's getting crossed up again, and his start and his restart have not been very controlled here today, and he needs it more than ever. He needs clean opening periods of laps. And was that him off again? It was. He is absolutely everywhere on this racetrack. Let's watch again for TD's. He gets it wrong. He keeps his foot in and he rubs the car out onto the Armco. That was just accident number 1. And then we go to turn right again, and he gets too close to Maxwell, can't see the corner, and straight off onto the Armco on the 2 corners later. TD's obviously ambitious, obviously desperate to make a really strong showing here, but he's on the soft tyres. This next 2 laps he has to make count, but he's down in 7th position, and he needs to win more than anything, because he could then even the championship point score. That was Rue, and Kuros Kai goes sideways. Slug into an accident. Maxwell involved too, and profiting at least from that. Let's have another look back at what went down with on board then. I think this is on board with Rue. Slug is wild and wild and out. He would try to rejoin, and it's just bang, bang, bang from Rue. Damn, that was messy. You have to say, pretty messy, unfortunately, from the drivers. But that is both Rue and Slug making mistakes, and now Rue is looking pretty desperate. Is this because it is raining again? Tell me it's not raining again. No, I don't think so. It's just drivers on restarts feeling a little bit desperate. TD's back into 5th place. Some of the drivers in front haven't pitted. I think it's just Thrasher and our Saito. As Chaotica says, cold tyres for the guys. I know, but Chaotica, I have a little bit less sympathy for people about cold tyres, because it's entirely predictable. It's just about managing how the car feels. I know it's not easy, and this is the hardest track on the game. It's probably the hardest track in all of sim racing, but it's no surprise that when you pit for new tyres, they're going to be cold. And really, I don't know. Kuros Kai then onto the apex, onto the grass again as Maxwell and TD's make their way through, and they're making this a little bit easier now for TD's. Now, he would have hoped, I think, to have used these soft tyres, TD's, for his fastest lap bid. So I think this may be a slight miscalculation from him. Floodie's saying that the latest physics update has definitely upset things. Okay, well, fair play. All right, I'll get off the driver's case then, and I'll give him a bit more latitude. This is the Nürburgring in the wet and dry, although it's not wet right now, so they've definitely had it worse so far tonight. Our Saito's in first. Thrasher is fighting hard though. Our Saito is on the medium, so is Thrasher, and the windscreen wipers are on again, folks. This is incredible. We have had one dry green flag lap, I believe, and here we are. Smoking says rain oncoming, and that's because the chat is 20 seconds delayed on the stream. So yeah, no surprises here as Thrasher takes the lead of the race. Let's just check that out again, shall we? If we can. And it's just good race positioning for Thrasher to make it through. Great driving and confidence, but we're going to see more pit stops if this rain continues, and there's no reason why it wouldn't. Thrasher leads from our Saito. Maxwell is up into third place, and I know Kev earlier on predicted Maxwell on the podium relatively bravely at the time after lap 1, but it's looking much better for him now. Maxwell taking very much the high line there off the concrete patches and keeping at least 2 tyres on the asphalt through the carousel. Preston saying this weather is making it a real tense race for sure, for sure. TDs is in 4th. Remember, he needs the win and the fastest lap. Nobody yet has set a fastest lap because we haven't had a fully green flag, fully dry lap, but there goes Thrasher spinning from the lead of the race. Thrasher is out of this battle, at least at the moment, and I desperately want to see what went down with Thrasher. Here we go. He's relatively cautious, you have to say. Runs through. When does he lose it? There, it's just traction, hits the Marshall post and spins, unfortunately for him. Wow, big moment for Thrasher. He just grabbed the lead, gainfully grabbing that lead, and tell me that the rain hasn't stopped again. I think it stopped. Saito wide, Maxwell into the lead, and TDs follows. That was Saito off on the exit of the corner, unfortunately for him, but Maxwell takes the lead of the race. And I think, based on the driver's windscreens, that the rain hasn't even lasted maybe a sector. Oh, TD's nibbling away at Maxwell's rear corner, and he doesn't want any issues with the stewards post-race, so just tempers out of that a little bit. Maxwell getting sideways once again. The aquaplaning effect. Dry tyres, remember, for these guys. Soft tyres, no less, for TD, so that should mean he's in the best position here of all the dry runners, of which the entire field are dry runners. But remember, I've just joined a driver on board. Maxwell, massive slide. Another great save from Maxwell. Love to see it. Brilliant head-on shot of a great save in the rain, but the drivers have zero confidence. And just as I say, great hold. Maxwell unfortunately can't maintain the adhesion with the racetrack, down to 6th place, unfortunately. TD's then in the lead, exactly where he needs to be, but he needs one clean, fast lap, and he's, I don't think, used the hard tyres yet. And with these rain laps, I think we'll be lucky to see a 7th racing lap as we go into 12 minutes to go exactly. TD's now leads Thrasher, who's made it past through Slug, who has been remarkably sensible on the racetrack for the last lap or so. We have the top 5 separated by what? 1.8 seconds. Amazing stuff. This rain has absolutely given us a great experience here in the race for those of us watching. I don't think the drivers are enjoying it, as Saito and Slug trade places down the main straight. The 2 French manufacturers with the slowest top speed managing to show something at least on the track, as Thrasher is looking good in this rain as well. Rue's on the tail of this field in 7th and can see the lead of the race. How did Thrasher just get through past TDs? I think TDs is being uber careful on the circuit. Thrasher perhaps showing why it was better to be more careful on the approach down into the corners. Everyone swapping positions here. Maxwell stays out. So does Slug as TD heads into the pits. I don't think he had a great deal of choice. But are we actually going to get the opportunity for anybody to score a fast lap here? Because if this ends up being the final lap, there will be no fast lap. Maybe Slug and Maxwell will slug it out between them. I don't know. Sully will have had a flat out lap here. Maxwell's round again, coming out of the hairpin, I think. That is a huge shame for Maxwell. And the driver's out on dry tyres because the sun is out again. It could rain twice more before the end of this race. TD's then going to try and get this rear-wheel drive Lamborghini out of turn one. Roux spins it. Oh, good hold. Saito gets the position. Did I speak too soon? As Roux down to 8th place. Goodness me, these places are changing fast. Thrasher tries to get down the inside of Kuroskai, and I think is going to do so. Kuros kind of turns into him a little bit, but frankly he's fighting to hold the car on the circuit. Roux, everyone's come out on medium tyres, but the track is at least a third, at least 33% wet. And Zen says it rained again. Yeah, for the third time in a 6-lap race, it has rained again. Slug leads us by 5.8 seconds. If he can get this home with... He's not even on the Nordschleife circuit yet. If he can get this home at the end of this lap and trigger the checkered flag, and he's got fuel and he's got tyres to do it. Now, I don't know if the mandatory tyre rule counts when we've had rain. Presumably not, especially this much rain. But the drivers are on hard tyres. The game has told the drivers to use hard tyres as well. So if they don't, I think the game will penalise them. But correct me if I'm wrong. Wow, Slug again, sideways, through the compression. Zen saying it does. Okay. Floody has had his comment banned. I'll let it go. I think. Well, I'll try to anyway. So Maxwell through into 2nd place, and he's been so sideways. Zen says hards are required, even if it rains, like every other lap. Is that true? That's harsh, but if they're required, they're required. I don't think everyone will have made that work, but Slug can try and get the distance on the rest of the drivers who haven't. There we go, through we go. Slug in 1st position by 1/4 of a second. Maxwell. Whoa, Maxwell round. Slug in 2nd. Oh, Slug off again. Okay, is anybody keeping count of Slug's off-track moments yet in the damp conditions? It hasn't rained for a good, I don't know, 6 minutes, but look at the amount of spray that is kicking up. The lack of grip. Maxwell is in an amazing lead here. I'm tempted to suggest, I think Maxwell started on hards. To answer your earlier question, Floody, I think Maxwell might have played an absolute blinder here. That is Sully allowing Slug back through into 2nd place. It is changing every few corners, the order of this race. TD's is in 4th. I don't think can put in a fastest lap. I think we might end up with these slow laps in the rain with a 6-lap race, and this could end up being the final lap. And therefore, anyone who has not used the hards is in trouble, unless they can pit and use the hards before the start-finish line. Do it very, very cheekily. The game might allow that if their pit box is before the start-finish line. Thrasher is in 6th. Kuroskai is in 7th, just about. Roux is still on track right now, at least, and holding on. Silo down in 9th. Big gap, but he's certainly trying very hard out there and putting in a great show. Zen says, I think there will be another lap, but it might not finish. Yeah, exactly. So not everyone is going to make it round before the 60-minute mark. If Maxwell does, I think Maxwell, with the speed advantage he's got right now in that planted Jaguar, say what you will about the Jaguar's top speed and fuel usage, but it is a secure feeling car on the racetrack. He's out there and he's nearly 4 seconds in the lead. I don't think he can quite believe his luck here. I think he's used the hard tyres. I think not many people did at the start of this race. But if you want to, you can skip back to the start of the stream and tell me the starting tyre strategies. As Vastly Unaware says, this is crazy. Well, what a day for us to debut live here with the broadcast, because they have absolutely risen to it. As Slug is nearly 4 seconds away. We've got Slug, Sully, TDs, followed then by our Saito and Thrasher in 5th and 6th position. Rue in 7th, Kuroskine 8th. Absolutely amazing. Kev shouting for Anatole, also known as Maxwell, our Thai driver, is Slug. And as far as I can see, I don't think Anatole actually sleeps either, so he's certainly active in Discord through his night. If he is indeed in Thailand, he was up early this morning messaging me with info about the race as well. Slug and TD go side by side there. Now, Maxwell hasn't quite got the gap, I don't think, to cruise to a finish. TD launches his way into 2nd position. Let's see if we can't catch that again as the sun sets around the Nordschleife. And TD's then he made his way through past Sully, kind of bullied Slug without contact. Oh, what a pass that was. So close to disaster from TDs as he sided across sideways, making the pass. What a sideways drift. TDs is going to try and do this. I'm not 100% confident that even if he passes Maxwell, he will avoid a game penalty. Now, will the stewards look kindly upon him or not? I don't think he's had a pit stop or safety car free lap either as TDs, so I don't think he can secure the championship. All things being equal here today, but absolutely incredible. And I believe Hyphy Honda, who's not with us, has had more wins. So if they finish level on points, it is going to go the way of Hyphy Honda. But as I said before, I will confirm championship standings after the race in the comments if you are chase watching this one. Maxwell, I'm sure he really wants to hold on, but I think that Jaguar is going to struggle down the final straightaway here. He's just going to pray, I think, that TD's makes an error. Medium tyres on both cars. Maxwell's are a little bit older. I'm as sure as I can be. I haven't had anybody confirm for me. They don't want to take their eyes away from the stream either, but no one's confirmed that Maxwell has used the hards and TD's hasn't. TD's round the outside. It would it be Maxwell hugging that apex like it's his favourite granny, as the saying goes, and he holds on to 1st position. Round we go then, and heading down. Glover says Team Rudy. Oh no, Maxwell off onto the grass. Oh, it runs out, and there goes Deeds into the lead then, and it's a good lead. It's a good looking lead because Maxwell was slowed by that off track moment, but T Deeds leads this race. I don't know if we will even be granted a fastest lap, but if we will, he will gun for it and push to the end. I think Maxwell Slug, possibly our Saito or Sully, will get the opportunity to tick through a fastest lap. What will T Deeds do here? He has enough fuel to finish. If he can get around, could he end up being the only car on track, doing his lap of honour and trying to get a fastest lap on the final lap here? We can only wait and see. So I believe he has pitted virtually every single lap of the race, every opportunity, as the light changes from sunset to something slightly different there. TD, 2.7 seconds gap. Does anybody know? Does anybody know how much this race will run for? Sorry, what was I trying to actually say there? Does anybody know about the fastest lap so far? What happens with the penalties if you haven't used the hard tyre? What happens to you? How much does the game award you a penalty? And will the stewards look favourably on this situation, given that it's been wet and dry virtually every 2 laps? Zen says a 1 minute penalty. Or are you saying 1 minute to go? As T Deeds comes towards the line here, He will easily make it a 7-lap race then. And will Maxwell cross the line? I don't think he fancies it. It's the checkered flag, is it, for Maxwell? No. Okay, we're okay. We're okay. Slug into the pits. So all these drivers are going to make it through. I think Silo might end up below that 2-minute mark, and we'll take the checkered flag at this stage. But TD's just gone round, so it's his only real hope of a fastest lap. So Maxwell has been given a 9-minute 51 fastest lap because we've had so much rain, but he's had 2 back-to-back green flag laps. Zen says the last will start the 3-minute countdown once he gets there. How the hell is this going to finish, guys? Come on, help me out here. Study your rule book. How are we going to see this to a finish if this is going to only give us 3 minutes? Is someone going to tell Silo to stop, please, so that we can see this race to a finish? Can anybody contact Silo in the Discord chat and tell him not to cross the start-finish line for us and stop the race coming to a finish? Floody saying, I'm so proud of him. Is that Kuros Kai? I assume so. TD has a 4-second limit. Right, okay, Chaotic saying it is a 1-minute penalty, no mercy for anybody. Maxwell has the fastest lap that TD needs super badly. And he's going to need personal best sectors every lap of the race. That 9:46 is an out lap, so it won't count. So Maxwell on a 9:51 has it, and he's got to pray it doesn't rain again. Has TD's. Watch those windscreens and watch to see if the wipers come on again as TD's comes through. Let's ride with him and see if he picks up a personal best sector. Heading through. I would have to imagine so, but he's got to hope no one else has fitted softs for the last lap of the race. I suppose they won't make it on an outlap all the same. That is a purple sector. That's exactly what Maxwell needs then to finish this race out. I will try and keep in touch with Maxwell, but he's got to balance risk versus reward. He doesn't necessarily know what the racetrack is going to feel like all the way around this one. So it's Rue, Kuroskai, Slug, Sully, Thrasher in 8th. We have Silo, who has now crossed the line. So Silo has not been able to follow any instructions or receive any instructions. We have a 3-minute countdown timer from now. Has Silo crossing the line just cost TD's the chance to take the fastest lap? He is going to be spitting feathers. So Silo had better hope that, or at least turn off his direct messages for a little while, because that has just destroyed TD's chance of nailing a fastest lap on here. He's going to do his best. He's going to try and get fastest sectors, but what difference is it going to make? There it is, purple sector once again for TD's. Maxwell. Oh, Maxwell's beating him to the fastest lap. So it could be academic after all. Maxwell is pushing hard. Glover says, brother or teammate, who do you choose, Preston? Saito is in 3rd for the Peugeot team. Can he hold off Rue here to get a famous podium for Peugeot? Well, certainly if Rue's going to do that, boom, into the barrier and couldn't wrestle control once again. Kuroskai is in 5th in the Renault and about to tackle those tricky corners. There is still moisture on the track. You can still see some moisture, so it is not a fully dry track. In the middle of the forest, it is very difficult. Something just kicked off underneath Kuroskai's car there. Preston says, don't make me choose between teammate and family. As Slug goes trying to hold on against Sully, the Renault versus Peugeot. No collusion between the two French manufacturers at this stage, but surely we cannot finish the race. 1 minute to go, and TD will have seen that time remaining come up, and he will not believe his eyes, I'm sure. So how the hell is it going to be? Glover says Dom Toretto says it's about family, but very few of Dom Toretto's family were actually blood connected as family. So it's a family you choose, no? Isn't that the message of the Fast and the Furious? Oh, look at Maxwell still pumping in those fast sectors. As Preston says, you're all family. There you are. And we have got a 22-second countdown. I can't believe how this is going to finish. No leniency, I'm told. No mercy from the stewards. The race ends as Polyphony Digital tells it to end, as T-Deeds is going to go 8, 7, 6. He has done everything he can except have 2 back-to-back green flag laps that he needed. That is your race. That is the end of the race. So, what T-Deeds finishes, I thought, with the livery, with the thing that they'd given it to Silo. T-Deeds wins, takes a 5-position gain, but I fear has not got the fastest lap awarded. No, the fastest lap went by way of Maxwell, and credit to Maxwell, it looked like Maxwell was going to take that fastest lap down to the wire anyway. Chaotica says T-Deeds done in by his own teammate, failing to realise what would happen. Mathieu Glover's saying vote kick Silo 1 out of 5. As T-Deeds wins the race, but I don't think he's going to take this championship. I think he's going to level Hyphy Honda on points, all things said and done. But as I said, I'll leave a spoiler note in the comments. Maxwell in second, our Saito in third, Rue in fourth, with Kuros Kai in fifth. All these drivers still running, apparently. I can't give you gaps. Slug finishes sixth, Sully in seventh, Thrasher came home in eighth, and I don't think I'll be very happy with that one. Silo famously in ninth position as well. But what an absolute cracker of a race. A shame it had to finish the way it did, but I don't think any final lap would have risen to the occasion that we set up for ourselves in that absolutely crazy race. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for your likes and your subscriptions, especially for the live watching today as well. Hopefully we will see you soon, and if you do subscribe, I will see you all on the next race day. Thanks, folks.